Hi, this is Wayne Rivers at the Family Business Institute. A couple things. First of all, we're always interested in your comments and your feedback, suggestions for future blogs. Second thing, and this is a pure promotion, the Family Business Institute is looking for a facilitator for our peer group program. This job will be posted, internationally really, in the next few days. But if you're a business person and you're sort of winding down your career and thinking about what am I going to do in my next life, and you feel like you've had some good accomplishments you want to share with other people, and you'd like to facilitate peer groups of other successful business people, let us know. We have an opening, and it's a good fit for people who are looking for that next career. Perhaps you sold your business, et cetera, et cetera. So let us know. We're in a talent search mode here. So let's hear from some of our readers and listeners, and just keep us posted on that. Thanks for the time for the promo. Okay, so this particular blog this week is actually from a reader. This is a reader suggestion, and it comes, I'm not going to compromise anybody's privacy, but it comes from Josh. Okay, Josh, thanks very much. We really appreciate it. He suggested that there's a real cost of being in a family business, and he had a very specific definition. He called it a family tax. There's a family tax for being in business with siblings, etc., family, mom, dad, etc. Okay? And I heard this story ages ago. Gosh, this goes back 20 years. But we were at a convention, and we were sitting by the pool, shooting the breeze with a contractor. And he was kind of jokingly saying he had finally bought his office building from his father. And he said, I've paid for it 3 times in rent over the years. I finally just said, heck, I'm going to write you a check and we're going to be done with it. And he was joking, but the point he was making is the same as our reader Josh. There's a tax. When mom and dad own the building and charge above market rent to secure their retirement, when they continue to take salary out of the business, even though they're retired and no longer contributing on a day-to-day basis, when they continue to have medical insurance, automobile, office space, clerical help, the high rent, when you're paying your parents above market rate for the business, so the business is worth $1 million, but you're paying them $3 million over the course of 10 years. All those things we refer to here at FBI as legacy costs. And they're very real. I mean, they are costs of doing business that you would not otherwise incur if it wasn't your family members. Now let's take it a step farther. What if you have unproductive family members in the business? What if you have a brother or sister or an uncle or somebody who maybe at one time was an effective employee but now is just coasting and drinking coffee and looking at the clock all the time? That is a legacy cost. That is what Josh refers to as a family tax. What if you've got a facility that's run down? When Granddad built it, it was in a nice neighborhood. But now the neighborhood has kind of fallen down around the business, and you're stuck there where the people in the office leave at 5 o'clock looking over their shoulders because they're afraid they're going to get mugged, right? That is a family tax. All those things we refer to as legacy costs, and they're very real. Now, think about it. Your competition doesn't necessarily have those things. And so that's a huge competitive disadvantage when you're going to compete for a bid for a product or a service, and you've got all these family taxes or legacy costs, and your competition doesn't. So it's actually a drag on your ability to compete effectively. So if you do have legacy costs or a family tax, what do you do about it? Well, 2 things. The first thing is you've really got to dig deep and model your finances. So you've got to be able to project what all these costs are. So you've got labor costs, right? And you've got all of the burden associated with that, the retirement plan and the medical plan and all that stuff. So you've got, if you've got a $100,000 a year employee, that's $130,000 or $135,000 a year cost to you. That's easy to figure. You've got your cost of production, you've got your overhead, you've got all these other things. You've got to build in these legacy costs too. So if you're paying excess rent and all that stuff, that might even be a separate line item. So model those finances and understand what you have to do to be profitable, given the fact that you're carrying an extra burden of costs relative to your competition, and you've got to plan for it. You've got to find a way to be competitive in spite of those costs. And the second thing I would suggest, once you understand your finances intimately, share those finances with the other people in your family, and put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants, and by God, have a heart-to-heart. You've got to have a peer-to-peer business relationship with mom and dad or aunt and uncle or brother and sister. You've got to be able to look them in the eye and say, we have a problem that needs discussion, and we have to come to a solution for this. It's as simple as that. Now, we've actually had cases in the past where mom and dad went, oh, gosh, you're right. We could take less money, no problem. We could lower the rent or we could stop the salary. We don't need that anymore. So the fear of having that uncomfortable conversation is the main thing holding you back. Don't be afraid. I mean, your survival could be in jeopardy when we have the next economic downturn if you don't fully understand your costs and model out what those costs are doing to you from a profitability and a competitive drag standpoint. So Wayne Rivers at the Family Business Institute, thank you. Let us know what you're thinking by clicking on the comments button below. Thanks.